Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to the greatest rising podcast in football. I'm Carson, and today we're covering college football, so I am your hokey-holic. That sounds so dumb. I'm your hokey-holic.
We're not covering college football.
Dang it! All right, hold on. Soft launch. Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to the greatest rising podcast in football. But today, we're covering college basketball. So I am your hokey-holic.
I'm Alex, and I'm a patriotaholic. That sounds terrible because of the New England Patriots, but I swear I'm talking about the George Mason Patriots.
And I'm Ian, and I'm a Redbirdaholic. Illinois State.
To find out who we think is going to make it far in March Madness, make sure to stay tuned for the rest of this special episode. But first, we got to roll that intro. Hello, Footballer Nation, and welcome to Footballers Anonymous, coming at you after a crazy regular season in NCAA football. No! NCAA basketball.
We got to keep that no in. That's
I'm
great.
keeping that.
Yeah,
I'm keeping that in there.
part's-
Don't worry. So we are here today to cover March Madness. We are three non-basketball experts, especially non-college basketball experts, trying our best to make the best brackets and compete against each other. So we're going to go ahead and make our brackets here for you guys.
I'm going to have the perfect bracket. They just don't know yet.
You guys don't understand. I'm about to cook.
We're gonna kick things off with my bracket this today. Last year I filled out a bracket with a couple of coworkers, and I had the best one. So I'm kind of a seasoned vet, honestly.
Oh,
Starting as you see, we have the South and the East right here, ready to go. First matchup in the South, we have Auburn and Alabama State. Easy Auburn lock. Yeah, no upsets at all ever. Next up, we have the Louisville Creighton game. Give me Lamar Jackson, Louisville. Easy
okay.
pull.
Okay.
Then we have Michigan, and sorry, is this you? Okay, I'm just making sure. Sorry. Next up, we have Michigan and UC San Diego. Give me Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. I just think he can lead Michigan to victory. Easy pull. Then we have Texas A&M and Yale. Texas A&M's the 4 seed. Yale's the 13 seed. Give me Yale.
Yes, I like this.
Yeah.
You'll find out more later, but I like this.
Next up, we have the number 6 seed Ole Miss and the number 11 seed San Diego State or UNC.
It is UNC. It is UNC.
Over at CSU. And then I'm taking UNC over Ole Miss.
Oh.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa. Then we have Iowa State and Lipscomb. I have no clue what Lipscomb is. So no more upsets here. Give me Iowa State. Then we have Marquette and New Mexico. Give me Marquette. Then we have number 2 Michigan State versus number 15 Bryant. Now call me crazy.
You're crazy.
But I'm going number 2 Michigan State. Now we're entering the round of 32 for the South. We're starting with Auburn at Louisville. Give me number 1 Auburn. I think that's a pretty good block. Then we have number 5 Michigan versus number 13 Yale. Taking Michigan here, guys. Taking Michigan. I feel like I have to. Tom Brady again, the GOAT. Then we have UNC versus Iowa State. Number 3 versus number 11. Give me UNC.
Oh.
Number 11 to beat number 3 Iowa State. I think it's a lock. Then we have number 7
like
Marquette versus number 2 Michigan State. Give me number 7 Marquette.
Ooh.
Over number 2 Michigan State. I think that's like double upset. Pretty clean. Going into the Sweet 16, we have Auburn, Michigan, number 1, number 5. Give me Auburn. I think it's an easy lock. I think Auburn's going all the way. Then we have UNC and Marquette, 11 versus 7. Both teams probably don't expect to get here. Give me number 7 Marquette.
Oh.
Put in Auburn and Marquette in the Elite Eight. We're gonna just go ahead and transition over to the East now. To start, we have number 1 Duke. Doesn't matter who they're playing, they're taking it. Simple as that. Then we have an interesting one right here, and I have a lot of ball knowledge, so I can say this is an interesting one. We have number 8 Mississippi State and number 9 Baylor. Give me the Baylor Bears. Bear down, baby. Bearsaholic.
Okay.
Give me the
I call
Bears.
bias.
Nah, it's not biased. It's elite ball knowledge, as some would
It's
say.
elite ball knowledge.
Right.
Now we have number 5 Oregon, Dylan Gabriel against number 12 Liberty.
That's Dylan Gabriel.
Number 12 Liberty. Give me number 12 and the 12 seed Liberty over number 5 Oregon.
All right.
Then we have number 4 Arizona versus number 13 Akron. Say what you want, but I'm going number 4 Arizona. That's a straightforward one. Going Arizona over Akron. Then moving on, we have number 6 BYU versus number 11 VCU. Carson's favorite team. VCU, of course, is going to win that.
Insane.
Just kidding. I'm taking number 6 BYU in this matchup to move on.
Okay.
Then we have number 3 Wisconsin versus number 14 Montana. Give me Wisconsin. I think that's a nice little lock. Then we have number 7 St. Mary's versus number 10 Vanderbilt. Give me Vandy.
Oh.
I'm taking Vandy on this one.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
we have number 2 Alabama versus number 15 Robert Morris. I've never heard of Robert Morris, and that's why I'm going to take Alabama. Now, moving on to the round of 32, we have number 1 Duke versus number 9 Baylor. Give me number 1 Duke. Oh, we'll move them on. Then we have number 12 Liberty versus number 4 Arizona. Give me number 4 Arizona. Then we have number 6 BYU and number 3 Wisconsin. Shout out Carson because we're going number 6 BYU.
Oh.
Then we have number 10 Vandy versus number 2 Alabama. Give me Vandy. Alabama's not a basketball school, they're a football school. I don't know anything about them, so give me Vandy. Now, Sweet 16, we got number 1 Duke, number 4 Arizona, number 6 BYU, number 10 Vandy. We're going to take number 4 Arizona over number 1 Duke.
Wow.
And then we're going to take number 6 BYU over number 10 Vandy.
Whoa. Okay.
Totally. So now we're in the Elite Eight of the South and the East. Auburn, Marquette, Arizona, BYU. To finish the South, we're going to take number 1 Auburn over number 7 Marquette. And then, again, shout out Carson, because we're taking number 4 Arizona over number 6 BYU.
Okay.
BYU, great run is coming to an end right here. And there you go.
Okay.
You see on screen now for any of our YouTube listeners. We have number 1 Auburn and number 4 Arizona entering the Final Four from the South and the East. Moving on to the West and the Midwest. Now these are some very interesting ones. Again, elite ball knowledge. So to start, in the West we have number 1 Florida, number 16 Norfolk State. We'll take number 1 Florida. Safe call. That's a really safe option. Then moving on, we have number 8 UConn, number 9 Oklahoma. I'm going to take number 8 UConn. Last year I took UConn to win it all, and they did. So I have a lot of faith in them, and I know nothing else. Then we have number 5 Memphis, number 12 Colorado State. Taking number 5 Memphis. Nothing special so far. Moving on, we have number 4 Maryland, number 13 Grand Canyon, number 4 Maryland. So far we're just taking all the higher seeds. But then number 6 Missouri, number 11 Drake. Give me Drake. Drake's in the same division as Illinois State, so might as well, right? Why not? Then we have number 3 Texas Tech versus number 14 UNC something, UNCW. So we're gonna take Texas Tech. Pretty easy call, I'd say. Then we have number 7 Kansas versus number 10 Arkansas. Give me Kansas. And then, number 2 St. John's versus number 15 Omaha. Give me number 15 Omaha. Crazy. It's going to be the craziest upset of I'm predicting 110-23 Omaha. Absolute cinema.
What?
Absolute cinema. Moving on to round of 32.
No, 110-23.
That's elite ball knowledge, Alex.
That is elite ball knowledge. Are you questioning it? Like, that's elite ball knowledge.
Dog, I don't.
Moving on. We have number 1 Florida, versus number 8 UConn. Give me number 8 UConn. It's UConn. That's all I know.
Wow.
That is all I know. Then we have number 5 Memphis versus number 4 Maryland. Give me number 4 Maryland. Then we have Drake versus Texas Tech, 11 versus 3. We're going to take Texas Tech here, number 3 seed. Then we have number 7 Kansas, powerhouse, versus number 15 Omaha. Going to be a toss-up in my opinion. I'm taking number 15 Omaha.
This is not a toss-up.
And the score of that one's going to be 111 to 24.
Okay.
Again, elite ball knowledge. Then,
Omaha
return to
Tech.
Sweet 16. We have number 8 UConn versus number 4 Maryland. We're taking number 8 UConn. Got a lot of faith in them guys. As someone who knows, as someone with elite ball knowledge, I have a lot of faith in
Of
them.
course.
Then we have number 3 Texas Tech versus the Cinderella story, number 15 Omaha. I mean, there's absolutely no way they move on, so that's why they're going to be beating Texas Tech and going to face UConn in the Sweet Elite Eight. Score prediction for that one is going to be 307 to 4. Easy pick.
Valid.
Easy
Valid.
pick. Easy pickings. Some Omaha player is going to go off for like 207. Now, moving on to the Midwest, we have number 1 Houston versus number 16 SIUE. Give me number 1 Houston. Very
Okay.
easy call, very easy. Almost as easy as Omaha, but not quite. Then we have number 8 Gonzaga versus number 9 Georgia. Taking Gonzaga. Number 5 Clemson versus number 12 McNeese. Give me Clemson. Number 4 Purdue versus number 13 High Point. Give me Purdue. Then we have number 6 Illinois. I don't think it matters whether they play Texas or Xavier. Give me Illinois. No bias at all. Never. Who would even rank such a thing? Then we have number 3 Kentucky versus number 14 Troy. Give me Kentucky. Number 7 UCLA versus number 10 Utah State. Give me UCLA. Number 2 Tennessee versus number 15 Wofford. Give me number 2 Tennessee. Midwest, pretty easy in my opinion. They're just picking 1 through 8.
Definitely.
Moving on to the round of 32, we have number 1 Houston versus number 8 Gonzaga. Give me number 8 Gonzaga. Nice little pull right there.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Then we have number 5 Clemson versus number 4 Purdue. Give me Purdue. Then we have number 6 Illinois versus number 3 Kentucky. Give me Illinois. Easy call. Number 7 UCLA versus number 2 Tennessee. Give me number 7 UCLA. Round 2 or round of 32. Couple upsets. Now Sweet 16, we have number 8 Gonzaga versus number 4 Purdue. Gonna take Purdue there. Then we have number 6 Illinois versus number 7 UCLA. Give me Illinois. Give me the Fighting Illini.
I was about to say, Rain's a Husky, so I'm taking UConn.
So
I know Rain's not a Husky.
we have number 8 UConn versus number 15 Omaha. Give me Omaha. I'm just kidding. We are taking number 8 UConn. Then, what's that? Then we have number 4 Purdue taking on number 6 Illinois. We're taking Purdue.
Okay.
Easy picks. Easy picks. So now here we are. We are sitting in our final 4. We have number 1 Auburn taking on number 8 UConn and number 4 Arizona taking on number 4 Purdue. Shout out the Fantastic Four. They should rename it from the Final Four to the Fantastic Four.
Real.
So we're going to just take care. Auburn, UConn. Great arguments for both sides. We're going to go with number 1 Auburn. Okay. On the other side of the ball, I'm going to use that phrase till the day that I
I
die.
know.
We have number 4 Arizona, number 4 Purdue. Give me Purdue. So, in the final, the national championship, we have the number 1 seed Auburn and the number 4 Purdue. Gonna be a nice little toss-up. I'm taking Auburn.
Ooh.
So that the Auburn is going to be your 2025 men's NCAA national champions. You can't, that doesn't let me put a score prediction on here, but I'm going to say final score is going to be 87-76.
Okay.
There you go. And that is
Respectable.
that's my bracket for this year. Now, I'm going to hand it on over to Alex And we're gonna see what his bracket is.
Alrighty.
Alex's
we're
bracket
starting off-
sucks.
My bracket is like the most realistic one.
I have a lot of beef with Alex's bracket, but we'll get into it later.
I
I'm
think
gonna just say it now.
I feel like both of you will have some beef with my bracket.
Nah, I'm okay with Illinois losing.
No.
Number 1 Auburn taking on number 16 Alabama State in the South. I have Auburn taking that one. That's a pretty easy pick there. Louisville, number 8 Louisville versus number 9 Creighton. Give me Creighton.
Ooh.
I understand. I understand that one.
That one. Number 5 Michigan versus number 12 UC San Diego. This is a little bit of a crazy pick on my part. I'm taking UC San Diego.
Most
Okay.
realistic.
No. The 12 seed upset is valid.
It's realistic. Realistic. I respect it.
I'm just gonna throw a disclaimer. I actually know like the least amount about college basketball of the three of us, but I also just we'll pretend like I know a ton. Number 4 Texas A&M versus number 13 Yale. I have Texas A&M winning that one.
Disappointing, but also
because
valid.
I don't think Yale is beating them. Number 6 Ole Miss versus number 11 UNC. Part of me is flip-flopping because I made this before we knew UNC was going to be here, but I'm going to still go with the gut and say Ole Miss is going to win.
Okay.
Number 3 Iowa State versus number 14 Lipscomb. I'm taking Iowa State. Number 7 Marquette versus number 10 New Mexico. I'm going with Marquette. And number 2 Michigan State versus number 15 Bryant. I have the upset. I'm going Michigan State.
Just like me. Big upset right there.
Yeah. Number 1 Auburn versus number 9 Creighton. I have Auburn taking this one. And the steamroll. Number 12 UC San Diego versus number 4 Texas A&M. I actually have UC San Diego winning again.
What's the score of that question?
What's the score?
The game?
What's the score of that game? I actually have that game going 85 to 81.
That seems pretty low.
A little bit low.
A 1 versus 12 Sweet 16 matchup is disgusting. Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing is insane. Number 6 Ole Miss versus number 3 Iowa State. I have Ole Miss winning this.
I respect it.
Okay, valid.
So I know I was flip-flopping between UNC and Ole Miss, but Ole Miss does go far. Number 7 Marquette is getting demolished by number 2 Michigan State.
Okay.
In an upset.
Of course.
Number 1 Auburn versus number 12 UC San Diego in the Sweet 16. I am going with Auburn. Number 6 Ole Miss versus number 2 Michigan State. I am going with Ole Miss.
I respect it.
Okay.
And then we're moving over to the East now. Number 1 Duke. They're winning. I don't care who it's against.
Valid.
Same thing as Ian. I mean, I don't even know the two teams that they could possibly play. They're not losing the first round. Mississippi State at number 8 versus number 9 Baylor. I'm going with Mississippi State. I don't trust the Bears to do well.
Hey, it sounds like bias. Sounds like bias.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't even know they were the Bears. I just picked Mississippi State, but now I can actually say that.
Sounds like bias in my opinion.
Number 5 Oregon versus number 12 Liberty. I got Oregon.
Wow.
Number 4 Arizona versus number 13 Akron. I got Arizona.
Valid.
Number 6 BYU versus number 11 VCU. I have VCU winning in the upset.
This is the most ridiculous pick. Like, this is insanely ridiculous.
I don't think that's that ridiculous.
Oh, BYU's going all the way.
Listen, since when do Mormons play basketball?
Fun fact, Carson played basketball from 5th grade to 8th grade.
True.
But did you play against a VCU?
Yes, you
No,
did
but the
actually.
Mormons
You
instead
bet
played
the
against
over.
Kansas and Iowa State. I don't understand.
Well, I know they beat Kansas, but we'll get to Kansas.
You got, let's see, who is there? Sean Bradley. He's Mormon.
We'll get to Kansas in a minute.
Jimmy, what's his face?
Wisconsin at number 3 is beating Montana at number 14. I don't agree with the Montana upsets. I think you picked Montana. Am I wrong?
I picked Wisconsin.
Oh,
He
no,
picked
no, no. I
Wisconsin.
apologize. I'm thinking of Omaha. That's a different team.
He picked Wisconsin.
Yes, Wisconsin. Number 10 Vanderbilt I have over number 7 St. Mary's, and I have number 2 Alabama over one of the hell Robert Morris is. In the round of 32, I have Duke beating Mississippi State 1-8. I have number 5 Oregon beating number 4 Arizona. I have VCU's run coming to an end at the hands of Wisconsin. And I have number 2 Alabama over number 10 Vanderbilt.
Okay.
In the Sweet 16, I have number 1 Duke over number 5 Oregon. Duke is just going to continue going. And I have number 3 Wisconsin over number 2 Alabama. In the Midwest, sorry, that's the wrong division. In the West side of things, oh wait, do I do the final? Do I do the?
Yeah. Do those two.
Now the Elite 8 on each of those sides of things. I have both number 1s winning. I have Auburn over Ole Miss, and I have Duke over Wisconsin.
Okay.
So both 1s made it there. I did realize my final 4 is a little boring, but what can you do? The West side of things. Number 1 Florida I have over Norfolk State. Number 16. I have number 8 UConn over number 9 Oklahoma. I do like the philosophy Ian went with. I agree that UConn will at least beat Oklahoma. They just do have an interesting place in the bracket. Number 12 Colorado State I actually have upsetting number 5 Memphis. And even better, I have number 13 Grand Canyon upsetting number 4 Maryland because we're getting that Colorado matchup.
Oh.
Is Grand Canyon Colorado?
Pretty sure it's Arizona.
Oh. My bad.
Checking now. Yep, it's in Phoenix.
All right. Well, we're still getting an awesome matchup there. Colorado and Phoenix are pretty close-ish. Number 6 Missouri I have over number 11 Drake. Drake asked if I loved them. I said only partly, and I took Missouri.
Ooh.
Number 3 Texas Tech I have over number 14 UNC Wilmington. Now, I know you mentioned Kansas when I talked about BYU losing to VCU. I have number 10 Arkansas beating number 7 Kansas. So your point is void.
That is wild.
He's not in Kansas anymore.
We don't need Kansas teams going far. Number 2 St. John's I have over number 15 Omaha. The final score being 135-2.
Insane. That is so unreal. That's such an unrealistic score.
No, I'm agree with Alex on this one.
You're killing your ownership and credibility. That is so unrealistic. Omaha's easily taking that one.
At the round of 32, I have number 1 Florida over number 8 UConn. I think that's gonna be actually a really close game. But I think Florida's gonna take it. Number 13 Grand Canyon I have beating number 12 Colorado State and going to the Sweet 16. We're getting the Grand Canyon Sweet 16. I have number 3 Texas Tech over number 6 Missouri, and I have number 2 St. John's over number 10 Arkansas. And in terms of the Sweet 16, I have number 1 Florida over number 13 Grand Canyon. I was tempted to take Grand Canyon, but at some point I had to stop. And I had number 3 Texas Tech over number 2 St. John's. Now for the Midwest, which is definitely the most interesting in terms of the winner of the the division as a whole, or the part of the bracket as a whole. Number 1 Houston I have over SIUE. I have number 8 Gonzaga over number 9 Georgia. I got number 5 Clemson over number 12 McNeese. I don't know what McNeese is. Here's a crazy pick. Ian has some faith in Purdue. I'm taking High Point
Over
That's crazy.
Purdue?
over
That's
Purdue.
insane.
Whoa.
That is the biggest upset of the bracket.
That's insane.
Wow.
Huh? Purdue is falling short.
That's
I
crazy.
had an English teacher that was one of the main catchphrases in the class of my senior year. It was something to do with Purdue. It was like when in doubt, go to Purdue. Except it was like it actually rhymed with Purdue. I don't remember what it specifically was. I'm not trusting Purdue. I'm picking High Point. I have number 6 Illinois over either Texas or Xavier, whoever they play. I have number 3 Kentucky beating number 14 Troy. I have number 10 Utah State beating number 7 UCLA.
Okay.
I can respect it.
And I have number 2 Tennessee over number 15 Wofford. Now here's a crazy pick as well. I have number 8 Gonzaga beating number 1 Houston.
No.
Me too.
No.
Yep.
Carson was very unhappy with that, but I took him anyway. Number 5 Clemson's beating number 13 High Point. I have number 3 Kentucky beating number 6 Illinois, and I have number 10. Sorry. I have number 2 Tennessee beating number 10 Utah State. In the Sweet 16, I have number 8 Gonzaga beating number 5 Clemson,
Respected.
and I have number 3 Kentucky beating number 2 Tennessee.
Gonzaga? Is this crazy?
It's not crazy, Carson.
It's really not that crazy. Gonzaga's actually good.
Really? Yeah, they're not that good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
If they beat
All right,
Houston, they have a
crazy
pretty
word.
good chance.
In the Elite 8, I have number 1 Florida over number 3 Texas Tech in a close game. And I have number 3 Kentucky over number 8 Gonzaga.
Okay. Still disgusting.
And for my final 4,
Shout out the 3 1 seeds.
you know what? I'm making a change on the spot.
I feel like that's against the rules.
I feel like you should have
Well-
already submitted your bracket by now.
I'm making one single change. It's in the final 4. I have number 1 Auburn over number 1 Florida. But because I want to have a little bit of an upset factor, as well as I want to see Carson wrong about this team, I'm taking number 3 Kentucky over number 1 Duke in the final 4.
What?
I'm gonna have Auburn versus Kentucky in the championship game in the Alamo Dome. Auburn's gonna win. I'm taking number 1 Auburn, number 3 Kentucky. I have the final scores now as 91-82. But yeah, that's my bracket. We're going high on Kentucky.
Insane. All right, so that was a bracket that happened. So, we're gonna get into mine. You're gonna see in the West. At first, you're gonna see it be very similar to Ian's picks. So coming first in the South, we've got number 1 Auburn versus number 16 Alabama State. Auburn's gonna win that easily. Louisville versus Creighton. I like Louisville. I know they're an ACC team, and I'm probably gonna get hate for saying that, but I do think they can beat Creighton. Up next, we got number 5 Michigan, number 12 UC San Diego. I think Michigan's gonna take this.
Shout out Tom Brady.
After that, we have Texas A&M versus Yale. Okay, I really like Texas A&M here. But Yale has this one athlete that goes by the name of Scott Sterling.
Scott Sterling! The man! The myth! The legend!
Okay? This man, Scott Sterling, can literally block anything with just his face. And he plays every sport too. He plays soccer, he plays volleyball, and my insider sources say he will be joining the basketball team for March Madness. So give me Yale in the upset against Texas A&M. All right, up next you have number 6, Ole Miss versus number 11, NC State. Now, I did see NC State in person right across the street there absolutely destroy the Virginia Tech Hokies. And honestly, I'm inclined to pick them here. So I'm going to take number 11, North Carolina. And
Also,
then we
shout
have,
out the bracket for updating to actually having this only be North Carolina after me and Alex have made our picks.
yeah, that is kind of gas. After that, we have number 3, Iowa State, and number 14, Lipscomb. It's going to be Iowa State there, obviously. Then we have number 7, Marquette, and number 10, New Mexico. I am taking Marquette here. And then we have number 2, Michigan State, and number 15, Bryant. And you know what, guys? I am also inclined to take the massive upset here and take Michigan State.
Wow, we three-peated on the upset.
We did. So, in case you haven't noticed, my entire first round was exactly identical to Ian's, but it'll get a little different here in a sec. All right, so up first, number 1, Auburn versus number 6, Louisville in the second round. This is going to be Auburn. I don't have a whole ton of faith in Louisville. I just really like them and their mascot, but Auburn's going to win. And then we've got Michigan versus Yale. Give me number 13, Yale, to take this against Michigan.
Going to Scott Sterling! His face is like a brick wall! A brick wall that can feel pain and cries a lot!
All right, then we got North Carolina versus, yes.
If Scott, last name.
Sterling!
Really?
If Scott Sterling blocked it with his face right by the goal, right by the net, would it be considered goaltending?
I don't think so. In fact, I think
Is
you
it
could
foul
argue it's a foul
for hitting him in the face?
for hitting him in the face.
In my opinion, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, and replay down.
This is not Footballers Anonymous football. This is Footballers Anonymous March Madness.
It's just called elite ball knowledge.
All right, so coming up next, we got number 11, NC State versus Iowa State, and yeah, Iowa's going to take this one. And then we got number 7, Marquette, and number 2, Michigan State. And you know what? I'm going to be boring and pick number 7, Marquette here. I don't think Michigan State's going to get the second upset. All right, so up next, we have number 1, Auburn versus a number 13, Yale. Yeah, Alex was stupid for having a number 1 and a number 13 in the and a number 12 in the Sweet 16. So I have a number 1 and a number 13 in the Sweet 16. And you know what? Scott Sterling's coming out with the W. Give me Yale.
Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because Scott Sterling's face has entered the building!
By the way, I actually had a number 1 and a 13. I had Florida versus Grand Canyon.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got Iowa State versus Marquette. And give me Iowa State there. All right. Coming in on the East. Duke is going to win first, obviously. This just seems pretty straightforward. Then we've got Mississippi State and Baylor. And I'm not going to lie, when I did my bracket, I was originally just like writing it down in a notebook. And I didn't want to write Mississippi State more than once. So I picked Baylor. And that is what I am going to still do. I'm trusting the Bears. After that, we've got number 5, Oregon versus number 12, Liberty. I don't have any faith in Oregon, honestly. From what I've heard about them, I'm going to take Liberty here. Up next, we've got number 4, Arizona, and number 13, Akron. I will be taking Arizona. And then we have BYU, number 6, versus number 11, VCU, and this is a very straightforward BYU victory.
VCU.
Absolutely insane. I'm never going to let you forget this, Alex.
Okay. We'll see what happens.
Oh, we will. Coming up next, we've got Wisconsin at number 3 and Montana at number 14. And you know what? I like Montana here. Give me that upset. Up next, we got number 7, St. Mary's, and number 10, Vandy. I actually really like Vandy here, so I'm going to take them. And then we've got number 2, Alabama, and number 15, Robert Morris. Again, just like the others, don't know who Robert Morris is. Just give me Bama. All right, so now for our Elite 8, number 1, Duke, and number 9, Baylor. Obviously, Duke is going to take this. And then we have number 12, Liberty, taking on number 4, Arizona. And I will be taking Arizona here. Shout out Arizona, good state, mid-college. And then we've got BYU, Montana. This is BYU. That's pretty easy. And then number 10, Vandy, and number 2, Alabama. Give me Vanderbilt. I am actually I'm really on the Vanderbilt train. Unfortunately, they're going to play Vandy, or Vandy's going to play BYU, and I am picking BYU to move on. And Duke and Arizona, I think Duke is just going to still wipe the floor, bringing them to the Elite 8. We've got number 13, Yale, taking on number 3, Iowa State. And you know what? I think Scott Sterling is taking them to the Final Four. Give me Yale.
What they're Sterling, Brown Sterling! Did you see that? Here comes a spike straight to the man! The man! The legend!
Now, the second matchup. BYU and Duke. You guys already know I'm a big BYU fan. I've got a lot of faith in them. I'm taking them to go to the Final Four. All right. Coming in with the West now. Starting off with number 1, Florida versus number 16, Norfolk State. Give me number 1, Florida. Then, number 8, UConn. Number 9, Oklahoma. Again, I agree with the other two. I also like UConn. Up next, we've got number 5, Memphis, and number 12, Colorado State. I know Colorado State has been looking really good the past couple weeks, and I am fully on that hype train. Give me Colorado State. Then we have number 4, Maryland, and number 13, Grand Canyon. Honestly, like Alex, I was tempted to take number 13, Grand Canyon, but a 12 versus a 13 in the second round just did not feel right to me, so I am going to take Maryland. Then we have number 6, Missouri, and number 11, Drake. And I mean, we're D2 haters here, so I've got to take Missouri over Drake. Up next, we've got number 3, Texas Tech versus number 14, UNC Willingham. I am very big on Texas Tech, and I do think they will take this. Then we have number 7, Kansas versus number 10, Arkansas. Kansas is a powerhouse here, and they will definitely be taking this. I don't even need to get too much into the next one. It's number 2, St. John's versus number 15, Omaha, and Omaha is losing to St. John's, and they will in fact be disqualified in the first period. So
aren't cooking, man. Y'all aren't cooking.
Moving on to the second round, I'm going to take Florida to beat UConn. Unfortunately, they had to cross paths so early. And I'm actually going to stay on the hype train and take Colorado State over Maryland. I really like Colorado State here. I'm going to take number 3, Texas Tech over number 6, Missouri. And I'm going to take Kansas over St. John's.
So wait a minute. Can you talk about your next matchup real quick?
Correct. We have a number 1 versus a number 12, because that is something that's cool to do, but only in the West. And I'm going to take Florida over Colorado State, unfortunately. And number 3, Texas Tech versus number 7, the Kansas Jayhawks. I really want to take Kansas here, but I am going to take Texas Tech. I do believe the winner of this matchup will win the West. More on that in a second here. But first, we had to go to the Midwest, which honestly might be my most boring part of the bracket. So jumping into it, we got number 1, Houston. They're going to win. Then we've got number 8, Gonzaga versus number 9, Georgia. I agree with Gonzaga here. Then we've got Clemson over McNeese. I like Clemson. Purdue versus High Point. Purdue, this seems like a gimme win for Purdue. Then we've got number 6, Illinois. It doesn't matter whether they play Texas or Xavier, they're going to win. And then we have Kentucky versus Troy. Honestly, I'm torn because I don't have a whole lot of faith in Kentucky, but they'll beat Troy, so they will move on. And then we have UCLA versus Utah State. Now, this one was a very hard one for me because on one hand, you've got Utah State that produces athletes like Jordan Love. But on the other hand, you have UCLA, which is always a mixed bag because you get athletes like Colin Schlee, but you also get athletes like Josh Rosen.
Ooh.
So there's a very big gamble there, but I do believe that Colin Schlee is enough for UCLA. I do think he will still be supporting them, even though he is now at Virginia Tech. And then my final matchup, as hilarious as I thought it would be to take Wofford, I have to pick number 2, Tennessee. Moving into the second round, I am taking Houston over Gonzaga because Houston is a powerhouse. This next matchup between Clemson and Purdue was really hard for me because I really believe in Clemson. I think they're one of the few ACC teams that are going to do really well. Unfortunately, I believe more in Purdue. I just feel like they're one of those basketball schools, so I will be taking Purdue. Up next, I had a really tough time with this. I don't know much about Illinois at all, but I don't have a whole ton of faith in Kentucky. But I'm taking Kentucky. And then we've got number 2, Tennessee is going to take number 7, UCLA. UCLA would keep going if they still had Colin Schlee, but unfortunately they don't. So now we've got a really exciting set of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds, because I really cooked with this bracket. So we're going to take the 1 seed Houston to beat Purdue, and the number 2 seed Tennessee to beat Kentucky, making this a really interesting matchup of the number 1 seed and number 2 seed. And I will be taking the number 1 seed Houston over the Tennessee Volunteers.
Houston won the Oilers.
Going back to the West. All right, I had a really tough time with this Elite 8 matchup. But I think I like Texas Tech over Florida. Back to the Midwest. Yeah, I did already say that Houston's winning. So Houston is winning that. Okay, so we have our final 4. All right. On the left, we have Yale versus Texas Tech. Now, this is a very interesting one for me. Scott Sterling is going to be pretty beat up at this point because he's been blocking so many basketballs with his face. But we're taking them anyways. Yale over Texas Tech.
Oh! Sterling has done the impossible! I can't believe it! Look at that! He played it just right! What incredible instincts to crawl away from the goal like that!
And then, now this matchup, I don't know if you guys even understand the storylines here, okay? The Big 12, the Big 12 bracket, BYU got absolutely humiliated by Houston. It was an awful game. It was terrible. I was watching it at home. So the storylines here are going to be intense. And I do think if they can clean themselves up, BYU will beat Houston. So we have a very interesting matchup between Yale and BYU as the championship game. Now, for those of you who don't know the lore behind Scott Sterling from Yale was first introduced in a comedy sketch that was produced by BYU. Because of this, Scott Sterling is secretly a BYU fan, which means the final score of this game will be 75-74. Scott Sterling will play his heart out, and then at the last minute, when they need him to block one more shot with his face, he will let BYU take it with the buzzer beater, and BYU will be your NCAA Men's March Madness champions. I know, I cooked. You don't even need to tell me. Cinema.
Okay. Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
All right. Those are all our brackets. We hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I don't
know what else to say.
I'm gonna let Carson do the outro because I don't do the outros like that.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, you and I are wearing some pretty cool merch, but I feel like Ian could be wearing something better. Ian, do you think there's anything else you could possibly be wearing right now?
I love my Chicago Bulls merchandise, and underneath I have a Chicago Bears shirt. But if I had to choose one other item to change, I would have to go with the brand new Footballers Anonymous merch drop. This brand new, you can find it on a Fourth Wall. You can just Google Footballers Anonymous. You can go to fourthwall.com, Footballers Anonymous from there. Pretty solid, pretty solid. We got plenty of great options. We have hats, shirts, hoodies, mugs, coasters. We got a blanket if you want a blanket. You can pretend like you're snuggling up with us when you go to bed at night.
Okay, wait.
And then on top of that, I mean, you can get stuff for your children too. Here at Footballers Anonymous, we love kids. We love it when they partake in, the footballing, you could say. So, just head over to fourthwall.com/footballers anonymous. Pick yourself up some merch. The first, 5 per orders that we get?
5.
We'll get video thank yous from us here at Footballers Anonymous. And the first 50 will get, what was it that I promised? Oh yeah, the first 50 will get their name put at the end of our future videos. So if you just want to support Footballers Anonymous, if you want to literally at all, or if you want us to see something, then just go ahead, drop an order. We'll be looking at it all. Much love. Appreciate all of you.
All right, Footballer Nation, thank you very much for joining us for this very special episode of Footballers Anonymous After Hours. Make sure to tune in next week on Wednesday as we get you ready for the UFL kickoff. It will be amazing. We will make sure that you know everything you need to know to follow along with us and fully enjoy spring football. But
Just like how we have our jerseys on right now. We won't have UFL jerseys because they don't really advertise those very well. But we'll show y'all our teams coming into this. Like how I'm a Pelicans fan in the NBA, it sucks. Ian's a Bulls fan and Carson's a Suns fan. We'll be revealing those teams next week for the UFL.
Make sure to tune in. And remember, if you can guess all 3 of our teams correct before that episode drops, you get some free merch. So, go ahead and drop your guesses in the comments. And if you have any questions about the UFL or our March Madness brackets, if you want actual knowledgeable answers, we probably won't be able to give them to you. But you can still ask. Or football off season, whatever you want to ask, make sure you ask, and we will feature them in our regular episode segments. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us for this very special episode, Footballer Nation. Footballer Nation, let's ride.